The collegium versus executive face-off is escalating by the day. The centre believes it's an alien system to the constitution. The vice president has opined that parliamentary sovereignty must not be held hostage. And today, the law minister pointed out in a letter that there needs to be a transparent system of appointing judges and has called for government representatives to be appointed in the collegium so that the process of appointing judges to higher courts is truly consultative. The law minister earlier also had questioned the collegium system, to which the Supreme Court had expressed its reservations. Vice President Dhankar later then said that striking down that the NJAC, or the National Judicial Appointment Commission, was against the parliamentary mandate. The statement did not go down well with the Supreme Court. Now, the opposition has accused the government of trying to capture the judiciary. The Congress believes that it's an orchestrated confrontation with the judiciary in order to intimidate them. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal also called it a dangerous move. Listen in.
बड़ा अन्याय है कि हमें ऐसा न्याय मंत्री मिला है. इससे बड़ा अन्याय नहीं हो सकता हमारे लिए. और न्याय मंत्री ने अभी चीफ जस्टिस को खत लिखा है कि कलीजियम में राज्य सरकार और केंद्र सरकार की नुमाइंदे होने चाहिए. बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर बदलने की कोशिश की जा रही है और जानबूझकर न्यायालय और सरकार के बीच में, एग्जीक्यूटिव और जुडिशरी के बीच में तनाव पैदा करा.
तो किरण रिजिजू जो है, जो आरएसएस की समर्थन से ये काम कर रहे हैं, ऑलरेडी एक टकराव केंद्र का और हमारे जो जजेस हैं उनका चल रहा है. आपको याद है कि वो लोग सुप्रीम कोर्ट के बाहर सड़क पर आ गए प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करने. सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजेस, भारत के इतिहास में ये कभी नहीं हुआ था. तो हम चाहते हैं कि जुडिशरी जो है इंडिपेंडेंट हो और में कोई भी हस्तक्षेप, सरकारें कोई भी आए जाएं, उनका नहीं होना चाहिए.
हमारी पार्टी ने कई मौक़ों पर स्पष्ट कर दिया है अपनी राय, और इसको लेकर जो विवाद खड़ा करना चाहती है बीजेपी सरकार, वो नहीं करना चाहिए. और हम न्याय के मंदिर को, संविधान को मानने वाले लोग हैं, तो इसलिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी ऐसे चीज़ों में भी दखल दे रही है, ये उचित नहीं है.
Now, the legal hawks believe that the collegium system is best and the government should have less say in the appointment of judges. However, former Supreme Court Judge Rooma Pal does believe that the collegium system needs to be transparent. Listen in to a few voices from the legal fraternity.
I think that the government should have less say in the appointment of the judiciary. I think that the judiciary should be independent of the government, and the government should have no say in the appointment of the judiciary at all, whether the collegium should be more opaque or not.
Yes. What do you think?
I think it should be more clear. Absolutely.
You know, I very clearly believe that this letter has been written without understanding the legal position. So either he has not read the judgment or he has not understood the judgment, clearly misreading of the judgment or a misunderstanding of the judgment. So I think if he wants to do something like this, he will have to bring in a new law and provide for the same by law. It can't be done by a communication to the Chief Justice of India.
All right, so is this about intimidating the judiciary or simply seeking more transparency? Joining us on the debate, Tushar Gupta, senior editor with Swarajya, Desh Ratan Nigam lawyer, Sailam Dharnidharan, spokesperson of DMK, and advocate Kapil Madan, political analyst. Let me start with the lawyers first. Desh Ratan Nigam, all legal eagles, so to say, seem to be in agreement that jo chal raha hai, sahi chal raha hai. Then why is the government not a part of this consensus?
Padmaja, in fact, any basic knowledge of Constitution would suggest something which is not even mentioned in the Constitution. How can that become a basic structure of the Constitution? It has to be a part of the foundation or the superstructure. The word consultation was used in Article 124 of the Constitution. The President will consult the CJI and other judges it may deem fit. So consultation became concurrence. by what stretch of imagination consultation became concurrence, I have failed to understand. And the concept of a basic structure doctrine, which was 13 judges judgment, which was passed in the ratio of 7:6, which was a very tenuous one judge's majority. Something, in a parliamentary democracy, and that is what Parliament today is asserting. In a parliamentary democracy, will of the people is the only basic structure of the constitution. Rest follows from that. The moment you start limiting the powers of Parliament, the will of the people, you start controlling the will of the people, the desires of the people or the aspirations of the people. That is where the Keshav Ganda Bharati is wrong and the previous judgment of Shankari Prasad is correct. Now let us come to the collegium system. The collegium system today is very opaque, full of nepotism, and there is a trade-off. You appoint my people, I appoint your people.
Okay.
We don't know how it functions. So much of opaqueness, and the people who control this are not accountable to anybody.
Okay, so you raised 3 points. Let's
that.
address this one by one. And I'll ask you, Selam Dharnidharan, about the issue of parliamentary democracy, the parliament being supreme. Now, nobody is saying that the government will make all the appointments, but what's the harm in having representation? Every appointment is about a consultative process. You are part of a political party. Don't you want that there should be an opinion taken of those that the people have elected for such crucial appointments? Selam Dharnidharan.
Oh yeah, see, the first and foremost is checks and balances. With this union government in place from 2014, most of the checks and balances are breaking away. You also have to look at the president of this government. President in the sense, how this government is breaking away the institutions. The ED has become one of the wings of the BJP. Sorry if I'm harsh, but let's look at the number of ED cases filed, increased by 10 times in the last 8 years, and conviction rate is less than 1%.
Okay, sir, if we can steer back to the issue at hand, what I wanted to ask you was that when we are talking about one representative, for example, Kiren Rijiju has also said that for the states, there will be a representative of the state government. For example, your party, the DMK, will find representation in deciding who becomes the Chief Justice of the Tamil Nadu High Court. What's wrong with that? The people have elected you. They haven't elected the judges. They have elected you. Shouldn't you have a say as well in such crucial appointments?
See, our party stand is this. We agree to an extent with the collegium-based appointment.
Why?
Because, I'll tell you why. Because this government will otherwise make it subservient. They will make the judiciary subservient to the union government. That is a fear, like how they've broken away every other institution, even EC.
But sir, like I said, in the state appointments, it would be in your hands. So the BJP is not saying that we will put our, representatives everywhere in Tamil Nadu, in Telangana. The state government will also have a say. And you will be one among many who get to decide. You will not have a veto. You will not have the deciding vote. You will not have overarching powers. You will just have representation. So at least you know. It's not a little cozy club who are scratching each other's back. Surely you, the representative of the people, deserve to know on the people's behalf why was such and such person appointed.
See, that's not the case. The case is we are afraid that if the union government is allowed to have their representatives in the collegium, they will interfere with the process of the judiciary. That is the problem. Like
will you interfere with the appointment when your representative goes there for the Tamil Nadu appointments?
We want the collegium to have more social justice, that is to have more representation from people belonging to different communities. As of now, it is 90% is
exactly, sir. So if you had a representative, when the appointments are being made, exactly my point. If you are saying social justice is not being fulfilled, when you had a DMK representative, you should say, excuse me, why aren't there more Dalits in your appointments? Why are 80% of the people all upper caste? Right now, nobody is telling you anything. They are like, here are the names, that's it, bye. Do you think that opacity is okay?
No, that doesn't mean the union government is a guardian of social justice. If you look at the number of union secretaries in the union ministries, 97% belong to the upper caste. So this government is the last guardian of social justice. So
Tushar Gupta is answering. Tushar Gupta. So familiarity breeds contempt, Tushar Gupta, and familiarity with the BJP's ways breeds contempt for every decision that it takes. Tushar Gupta.
you know, it's rather ironical that back in 2014-15, most of the opposition parties were agreeing with the need of NJAC. Padmaja, but my problem is that the judicial activism that we are seeing these days, do I want the judiciary to be independent? Absolutely yes, but I do not see how it is accountable. Just on Friday, the judiciary, two of the justices were remarking on how TV anchors should conduct their debates. Now, whenever NJAC comes up, everyone is very quick to talk about separation of powers, how legislature and judiciary are two separate groups or two separate pillars of the constitution within the democracy. But what are we seeing today? Judicial activism, judiciary telling us that the audience is not mature to understand TV debates, that TV anchors need to be taken off air and things like that. That is what worries me. In the collegium, you are not going to get your social justice the previous speaker spoke about. You are not going to understand how the judges were chosen. Say there is one judge that is to be selected and there are 5 contenders. We have absolutely no idea how that one person was selected. What was the parameter? We have no idea. The public of this country has absolutely no idea. And Padmaja, you know, this one interesting argument keeps coming up against NJAC, that the 2 nominated members we are talking about, apart from the Chief Justice, the 2 judges and the Law Minister, they won't have the legal acumen to nominate the judges. Now, that's a very simple answer to that. Does the lordships, all the lordships, make the decisions which are in the best economic interests of the country? While their understanding of the law would be impeccable, can we sit here and presume that their understanding of economics, of infrastructure, of environmental clearances is also impeccable? No, it's not. So you need some representation, not just for checks and balances, you also need that for better decision making, which we have suffered through.
Parliamentary mandate is being undone by the Supreme Court through this process. Kapil Madan.
So, you know, I was listening patiently to, my friend Tushar Gupta and Mr. Nigam, and I find, their views palpably and manifestly wrong, and I will just give you the reason why. Now, while, Mr. Nigam was trying to portray that, there is nepotism in the judiciary, and it works like, you appoint your people and the other person will appoint. So this to my understanding is, on the border of contempt. Because you just can't make these statements in the air. Does Mr. Nigam has any evidence? Does Mr. Nigam is trying to impute any ill will or malafide on the part of the judges? So I don't subscribe to that.
Nigam, what is your ground for saying this? That this is nepotism. People are chosen only on merit. Let him quickly answer this. Why did you say it is nepotism?
Yes, let me tell you, we have the system of uncle judges here, and we have seen few families whose kids are being appointed, and one can name them, but the fact remains I would rather avoid it.
But Kapil Madan is saying that's because of merit, not because who's their dad, who's their father.
No. Let me tell you, we have had drastic consequences also in the past.
But
and let me tell you,
exactly.
Let me remind Kapil Madan one thing, that NJAC was supported by the Congress, all parties unanimously passed. Today he is backing out.
Kapil Madan.
Today he is backing out. And please understand, the NJAC, they said during the course of hearing, they said please take it back and just change the composition. They were not against it. Because of certain follies by the then Attorney General, and I'm very clear about that, they rejected it. The offer had come from the judges at that point of time, just go and change the composition. The 2 members who were to be selected and how to be selected, that was the only difference.
Can I respond?
Yes.
Now, if you look at the statements, I think it is a calibrated attempt to, put the judges under pressure, because, Mr. Dhankar is not the law minister. He is the vice president of the country. He has no business to comment on, how the judges should and how the collegium should function. It is the job of the law minister, and he's,
okay, leave that aside. Even if you leave aside Mr. Dhankar, you leave aside Kiren Rijiju, answer this simple anomaly that when you were okay with it 8 years back, the Congress party, what has suddenly happened now that you've become anti-transparency? That's the simple question.
Padmaja ji, I am speaking on my behalf, and as a lawyer, I would say that, independence of the judiciary.
But you are the spokesperson of the Congress, if I am not wrong.
It is the most important. I am speaking.
But sir, how does the independence of the judiciary get comprised by one representative? I am asking you, give me a simple answer. There is an entire selection process. If there is one person who is added to the mix, how does the independence of the judiciary get compromised? Does that one representative of the government say, no, I will write all of your judgments? It is only about selection. You are not even preempting their judgment.
Let me respond to that.
Yes,
now,
go
let
on.
me respond to that. We are all forgetting that the collegium system has decided by the second and the third judge's case, and as per the NJAC judgment, that's the law of the land. Now, what you're trying to argue here is that okay, let's have something else. Let's have a different procedure, which has not.
Not a different procedure. Just add to that process. Nobody is saying that the Prime Minister will sit there and say he is the judge and she is the judge. All you are saying is fine, consult all the senior most judges, but please let's also add a representative of the people.
Padmaja ji, there are two fundamental flaws in your point, and I will answer both of them. Now, one is that once there is a procedure established by law, you can't simply say कि नहीं आज change करके किसी और को बिठा देते हैं. It doesn't happen that way. You need to follow the mandate and the letter of the law. That's point number one. Now, my second point is, now you're saying that what is the problem even if you have a state representative or a union representative on the selection board. Now, I will just give you an example. Now, once, the collegium system is comprises of the most senior judges of the country of that particular board. They have spent, few decades in the profession. They know the nuances of the law. They know how to select the candidate. They know what is the candidate.
What is the flaw? Tell me what is the flaw in having a representative?
Now, can you rule out if someone from the center or maybe the state is taking part in the selection procedure? Can you rule out the biases? To my
Can you rule out the biases on part of the judges? I mean, I say this with the greatest of respect, but why are you assuming that the political representative will be biased, but the judges who are a part of the selection process will not be biased? It equally applies to all. It's human folly.
Kapil.
Okay, Deshatar Nigam quickly responding. Tushar Gupta also I'll bring in Selat Dhadil. Deshatar Nigam quickly respond.
Padmaja ji, one thing is very clear. The independence of judiciary is maintained by making the process of their removal difficult, which is in this case already provided under the constitution. It is very difficult. Now, if the changes have to be made, they have to be made by a new law. I think this is letter writing is the first step by bringing the new law. It can be done by the parliament. And we have to be very clear. The judges are not accountable to people. Tomorrow, if a politician makes a bad appointment, they will be questioned in the people's court in the elections and can be removed for that particular. This is where the accountability comes in. And parliamentary democracy is based on duties, responsibilities, and accountability. And this collegium system lacks all these.
Selan Dharnidharan, again, it boils down to the simple question which nobody has answered. The most strident opposition is independence of judiciary will be compromised. My question is how? How are we naturally assuming that the one representative is going to supersede everyone else? How is independence compromised? How?
First step
Can I
towards the only organization in this country that is now standing up to this union government, when most of the institutions are now already wings of the BJP party. So this is a step, and that is why we are fighting it. And again, I also want to tell this. BJP spokesperson today said, "Oh, it's the will of the people because in the parliament we want one member to include in the collegium." But let me make it clear: in Tamil Nadu, we have 20 odd bills. This is governor, messenger of the BJP party, who has not signed, and NEET, which we want an exemption, right? Which all the parties except for one party, which has less than 2% of vote shares, have voted against NEET. But NEET is not allowed to be passed by the governor. It's now sitting with the president. Initially, it was for 1 year. It was sitting with the governor of Tamil Nadu, and now for 6 months with the president. Why? So why not?
It's funny, Mr. Dharnidharan. I'm going to end it at this because I suspect this is a debate that's going to go on for a very long time. But I'm still glad that you said that Supreme Court is the only institution which your party still trusts, and that you think it is the only reliable institution, because it's only on the 19th of November 2022 when the Supreme Court upheld the 10% reservation to EWS, you said that this is a massive blow to democracy. You criticized the Supreme Court at that time, but I'm glad you think that it's a reliable institution. I will leave it at that. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, for joining me with your wisdom.